All right, my name is Derek, and the question for our debate is, given the oil spill in the Gulf Coast, do you feel laws should be passed to permanently ban construction of new offshore drilling? And I am going to be for drilling at this debate.
And I'm mad. I'm going to be against it.
All right, if the United States permanently banned new oil rigs for the Gulf of Mexico, it would be more dependent on foreign oil. As a country, the United States consumes far too much oil to prohibit drilling in most oil-rich areas. So there's plenty of it in the Gulf, and it could be safely drilled. In addition to oil, it makes lots of needed jobs for Americans and for people in the Gulf Coast. And these can be high-paying jobs that would be lost if oil rigs are banned.
So I disagree because we have plenty of good oil here in America on the land. But when we go into the Gulf, that puts a danger to a lot more wildlife because the oil spreads out far easier. So we should drill in America so we don't become self-sufficient on oil from overseas. Next question, should drilling be banned or does it need tougher regulations? I think it should be banned because banning offshore oil drilling will have many benefits. First being that other sources of energy will be more heavily investigated and implemented. Also, millions of people and species of wildlife will not suffer so that huge corporations can make billions of dollars. The major reason to ban offshore drilling is that it has not contributed to any good for humanity and has negatively impacted our environment, atmosphere, and wildlife.
That's a good point, but I don't think they need to go as far as banning oil rigs. I just think there needs to be more regulation to eliminate these risks. You know, before the oil spill in 2010, there weren't any major oil spills due to offshore drilling. There's just bad regulation, and I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of wells, and I just don't think this one accident should cause the banning of all these wells and potential wells offshore. I just think they need to be regulated better, and that's it.
So there are a lot of risks to offshore drilling, and the main one I'm concerned with is the marine and human life around the coast. Because if the damage from one oil spill from one rig from 2010 could cause as much damage as it did, then thinking about all of the rigs out there, if something were to happen with multiple, then it would devastate the marine life and all the animals affected would also affect the human population because the humans would eat the animals who have consumed the oil. So that's my point.
Okay, that's a good point, and I do think that it is a major risk to the marine wildlife, but companies are becoming more responsible for their actions. I think after they saw what happened to BP, they're getting a little more serious about things like that. And I think they have more plans in case something were to happen like that so they can act quickly. And obviously technology is getting a lot better to make things easier for cleanup if something does happen. I just think they're becoming a little more responsible for their actions in case another disaster like BP happened again. Okay, so for my closing remarks, I just want to reiterate that I don't think that they need to ban offshore drilling. Like I said before, there just needs to be more regulations for for companies. And after the disaster that happened in 2010, people are definitely taking it a lot more seriously, especially the companies trying to keep things safer. I just think after that one big disaster, I know it was bad, but I don't think you should have to ban all the oil rigs, like in the Gulf Coast, just because of one accident. I just think there's different solutions than just completely banning it, and I think the risk has definitely gone down, and there's definitely a lot more responsibility, and they're actually taking responsibility for their actions.
And I disagree. I think that the offshore oil rigs pose a grave danger to the wildlife and the human population around the coast. And why should we risk that when we have perfectly good oil across the land that we can drill and tap into and use our own oil there rather than get it from overseas? So we should definitely ban oil rigs. Done.
All right.